Hi, Adele Bates, Behaviour and Education Specialist here, and in this vlog I'm looking at traditional approaches to education, progressive approaches, and what we actually need. But more importantly, how much time we waste having this debate. I can't believe it. Recently down my Twitter feed, there's just been streams of negativity of teachers against each other saying, but this way's better, but that way's better, but this way's better. Surely the answer is just, we need both. Some of you might know I used to be an opera singer, and I used to sing in operas 2, 3, 4 hours long in languages that I don't speak. Okay. And so I needed rote learning. I absolutely needed it because that's the only way to get those lyrics in your head. I've still got speeches from when I trained at drama school, and they are still in my head because I rote learned them. Tomorrow and tomorrow and tomorrow creeps in this petty pace from day to day to the last syllable of recorded time, and all our yesterdays have lighted their way to dusty death. Out, out, brief candle, life is but a walking shadow. You can't do that without rote learning. It just doesn't work. And to have those facts and knowledge at the tips of my fingers when I'm speaking is massively useful. And I think some people, when they meet me, they mistakenly, perhaps because of, I don't know, the way I dress or my politics, they think I'm just completely progressive. But actually, we need both. On the other side, I know that one of my top skills when I'm working in a team is my ability to get on with others, is my ability to spot skills in other people, my colleagues or the students, and to bring those together in a cohesive group. I facilitate groups. I facilitate very challenging groups sometimes. And I do that because of the skills I have in working with other people. And just look at the planet. I mean, we need that more than ever. We have a climate change disaster out there. It's not something that our previous knowledge is going to help with. We need to explore. We need to work with other people. We need to work with people who we might not like. You know, there's a word, tolerate. I don't particularly like that. Accept. How do we accept other people so that we can work alongside people who are different from us in order to pursue a greater goal, actually? I was really, really lucky when I trained to be a teacher. I had a fantastic tutor, Dr. Steve Roberts, recently became a doctor. Congratulations. He's out there now somewhere in France drinking wine, I think. But he said to me once, I think he said to the whole class, we actually need a whole host of different teachers and teaching approaches because there are so many different students and different ways that those students learn. And that gave me a real permission slip, actually. I really liked what he said because it made me realise, you know what? There are certain groups of students I'm not going to be great at. Under 8-year-olds? Ooh, terrible. But that's okay because what I do well, and there are other teachers who do their thing well, and so it works. I had a great colleague, Jim Raymond, and we were in an English department together, we trained together, and he used to jokingly say, if you want to learn grammar and really study texts in detail, go to him for English. If you want to save the world with your communication in English, go to Miss Bates's Amnesty International Club. And that's what I did. For me, I'm really passionate that I enable students to communicate through their language in order to give them a voice, in order for them to make positive change in society. That's my thing. Jim's thing is something completely different. He really enjoys teaching the grammar, teaching the text in lots of detail. Both are needed. Absolutely both are needed. And recently I published a vlog on Finland. So some of you may know I spent a month there at the start of this year. And there is a myth. Oh, that's what my vlog's called, the myth about traditional progressive Finland, something like that. But there's a myth that Finland has this progressive approach to education, and I've seen anti-progressive teachers poo-pooing it and etc. But it's really not true. The area they're progressive in is when they look at the infrastructure and society of support around teaching. And there's a lot of blogs that I've written about that, so I won't go into it now, but do have a look if you haven't already. But actually in the classroom, I observed for a month, I visited 4 different schools, all different types of places. I saw exactly the same as I saw in the UK. I saw some incredible talk and chalk lessons. They have fantastic textbooks in Finland. They're used liberally. And also, I saw some fantastic lessons that involved 10-week project group work in which students came out with some fantastic written pieces. There are loads of different types of learning. And I think the real question is not what is better, traditional or progressive, but how do we know when to use which one for which types of students and when? So there are points, and I will say maybe prep towards GCSEs, where I will do a lot of rote learning with my students because that's what is needed. They need to learn those quotes so that they've got them on the tip of their tongue ready for the exam. However, there are other times when we need to explore the context of a piece of non-fiction text within a greater society, and we need to explore that. And actually, a group project there works fantastically. We know when to use which one by how well we know our students. And I think that's really important. Nowadays, I work most of my time with students with emotional behavioural difficulties, social and emotional mental health issues, students who've experienced trauma, abuse, neglect. Now, guess what? When they first enter my classroom, the most important thing, in my opinion, is not the facts they're going to learn in that lesson, but that they feel safe, that they feel regulated, that they feel as if they're building positive relationships with adults and with their peers so that they don't get triggered into past trauma. Once we've got that, great, let's go for really pushing the learning and the knowledge and everything else. But first of all, we need to look at for some of them, really basic social skills. And that's the most important thing for them. If you're sitting there with an A-level group who are top set and desperately thirsty for your subject, then you can teach them in a different way. All of this comes down to the most important thing is not what is best, traditional or progressive, but how well do we know our students and how can we adapt whatever we're teaching to make it work for them in the moment that we're teaching them. I'd love to hear your comments. If you haven't already, sign up to my newsletter so we can continue this conversation. Thank you.